Welcome to Madison City Channel's Know Your Candidates interviews, co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Dane County. I'm your interviewer, Eve Galanter, and I would like to introduce Matt Egerer, running for Alder in District 2. Matt, as we begin, please give an opening statement about the educational, vocational, and civic experience you have, which prepares you for this office and why you are running for Alder.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm Matt Egger, and I'm running for District 2 Alderman, and I have 20 years of experience at the state capitol. We helped get elected Kim Hickson from Whitewater, where I went to undergrad, and I came up once he got elected and interned in his office, and then upon graduation was able to move over and get hired as staff to a legislator from Milwaukee, Fred Kessler. I worked with him and then went out and ran a race in the Baraboo area, Fred Clark's election in 2008, was successful there, and then came in and Representative Barca, who had been a member of Congress and prior legislator, returned to the legislature and was elected to leadership. And so I joined his team as a member of the Assembly Democratic leadership through our time in the majority. Then came Act 10 and the issues around that, and Representative Barca became leader, and we kind of took the helm of trying to work against the Act 10 era policies that we were seeing. Then he became Commerce Secretary, and I worked for Todd Onstead. And then more recently, I had actually a brain injury myself, and have had a recovery process, and that's kind of what's led to me seeking new opportunities. But really, my professional background is largely at the Capitol. Passing the texting while driving ban, and getting the Capitol Chair of Honor monument installed in the Capitol Rotunda, which were two major accomplishments under my time working for Representative Barca, in addition to the Act 10 pushback and the issues around that.
How would you evaluate the city's current efforts to address homelessness and increase the amount of affordable housing? Are there additional steps the city should take to address these issues?
Homelessness is obviously a big problem, and it's it's kind of with being a big city, you get big city problems, and it's a place with resources, or a place that people want to come to, and so it's understandable that we have populations in town, but it's about kind of meeting the need and getting the resources into the community to make sure that folks who have fallen on hard times, or are perhaps are homeless due to substance issues, or other underlying factors that are beyond just economic impacts, but just steering resources and making sure we're working, to address, if possible, the larger picture around the person, to address the homelessness. But yeah, I think it's first essential to get people in homed and off the street, and then from there, I think kind of working those later steps. But really, from the city's perspective, it's about making sure that housing is affordable and that there's a pathway to get people from substandard housing or ill housing, or transitional temporary, people that are kind of in the gaps, getting out of the cracks and getting back onto their feet, is kind of, I think, something that the city should be central in.
Now, what actions or programs would you support to enhance public safety in Madison? In particular, what is your position on the use of body cameras by Madison police officers, given the recent demonstration project?
I have always been, I guess, supportive of body cameras, because to me, it makes sure that there's a independent set of eyes on any interaction, and so for me, body cameras are great, for all, I don't want to say sides, but for both the police and the police themselves. It gives a fair set of eyes, and ensures that any interactions can be reviewed and can have the proper oversight that I think we want. when we charge people with the ability to enforce laws. And so yeah, I think, those kind of transparency efforts and any way that we can make sure that the public is, it feels a part of their community and not policed by their community or somehow othered by their community are great steps. Given some of the issues and tensions that have seen light in recent years in our community. I think all that can be done to ease tensions and to make sure that everyone feels like they're on the same side of wanting no crime and a safe city rather than divisions, artificial divisions between one another.
In the wake of the recent referendum to increase property taxes, what are your priorities for the city budget?
I pushed for a Madison that's smart, safe, and affordable, and so I think a lot of the public safety issues that you talked about are top of mind for people that public safety is definitely kind of again what people demand from their city, but I think the way of life things that make Madison great are further things that can always be built on, and so I'd love to see resources go to any number of things, the downtown events, there's plenty of, there's so much here, but there's always more to do. And so additional resources can always be put to a good, cause. There's definitely not, or with mindful leadership, there definitely wouldn't be waste. But with all that's going on in our community, I think resources are good to have and best put to good use.
How should Madison balance the need for development with other concerns such as traffic, historic preservation, and conservation of natural areas?
Yeah, policies of smart growth and development that have been championed by progressive thinking leaders on the state and national levels and even here in Madison, I think have really kind of set the tone. But yeah, we've got we're for all the right reasons, we're a bustling city and a growing and always growing city, and we have to manage that and navigate that and not kind of lose what we have where we're a big getting bigger city, but don't necessarily have all the what people think of as the bigger city problems. And while they are there, I think all that can be done to minimize them and use the intellect and the resources and the kind of things that make Madison great to solve our problems is just kind of all part of what I'd like to forward as I put forward an agenda that works to solve the problems of the people of this city.
What are the most critical issues that you see facing the people in your district, and what would you propose to address those?
Yeah, I think smart, safe, and affordable is what I've been pushing, and I see that holistically. And so people that live around me, again, we want good jobs. We want the ability to get to those good jobs with transportation. We want a nice place to live that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. And I think those are the kind of things that bring people here and keep people here, and the kind of things that we definitely don't want to take our foot off the accelerator. And so the continued, reworking things that aren't working and building upon what is definitely the line of thinking that I would lean towards. And yeah, I think again, a rising sea makes all vessels rise, and to build on what's working and to look into what isn't, and to look to others who have seen success kind of along within our kind of high tech, our high intellect sectors that we have here, and just borrow from what's working, and always be open to reassessing what isn't, and to put forward what we think are the best ideas to move our city forward.
What would you like to say to the viewing audience as we complete this interview?
I think when you look at the candidates in this race, I'd ask people to look at the experience. I think I believe between me and my opponent, that seems to be the primary distinction. That I've worked at the Capitol and county government and in the college and at the municipal level for the last essentially 20 years, and have a real accomplishments to speak for. I was there to push back against Act 10. I personally wrote the state's texting while driving ban. I was the one that shepherded the prisoners of war missing in action monument in the center of the Capitol Rotunda. I have real accomplishments under my belt and have been doing this for a long time. You know, I didn't just sign up recently. I have a passion for this, and I wouldn't be here if I didn't think that I was the best candidate to represent my community in this race.
I want to thank Matt Egerer for speaking with us and thank the viewing audience for taking the time to know your candidates. I want to remind everyone that the general election is Tuesday, April 1st. Every election is important. Please vote. On behalf of Madison City Channel and the League of Women Voters of Dane County, I thank you for joining us today.